Well, I'm going to get right at it. My name is Brian Attenbring. I appreciate you taking the time today to kind of listen to our story here at TEEMA. In 2020, we had our best Q3 in company history. In 2020, we had our best Q4 in company history. We continually grow, and we'll tell you a little bit of our secret sauce and how we continually grow and our commitment to growth. So we're safely on the road to really changing the industry. So now I want to kind of talk a little bit about why we created TEEMA. Like, why did we do this? I mean, what we do is no different from our competition, but how we go about doing it and why we go about doing it is where we find our key components of differentiation. So why did we build TEEMA? I wanted to create a transient, or remove this transient nature within our industry. Maybe many of you are going from one agency to the next, to the next, to the next, kind of trying to find what you're looking for. And it's just, it's the same stuff, different pile. And I wanted to stop that. I wanted to create a home for people when they come into the organization and they come to TEEMA. This is the last stop within the recruiting and staffing industry. And really, we've created that for so many people. When you find success and how to create success within TEEMA, you don't often see people leaving here at TEEMA for those who have figured out how to be successful. I wanted to create autonomy. People want freedom. For those who are good at what they do, they don't want to be restricted and micromanaged, right? You already know what and how to be successful. I wanted to create this autonomy environment. The traditional agency just takes far too much of the cut. I just wanted to flip it right upside down. And allow the people, to be able to take the majority of the earnings because you're doing the majority of the work. One of the big things I wanted to also create why TEEMA is a community and a culture. A community is so important. Every company has a community or a culture. Whether it's good or not will depend on how well the company goes. So culture is a huge, huge piece here at TEEMA, and it should be a huge piece in every company for that matter. But I wanted to work with similar, like-minded individuals who have a commitment to excellence, who were committed to this industry, and we're just like-minded in nature. And so I wanted to create this sort of community of individuals, and we've certainly done that. And to be disruptive. The traditional agency's been around for a good 40 plus years now, and it really hasn't changed. You have these big agencies, boutique agencies, and they're kind of run the same way. They're all metric driven, they're by numbers and so forth. And I wanted to create something and flip it right upside down. And I didn't know it at the time, but that is this platform business. We have one, the platform, what I refer to a platform business like an Uber or the App Store, where, an Uber driver, they drive and Uber creates this platform and they can, work as many hours and build their little empire as they want. But at TEEMA, we've created this platform. So we have one foot into a platform type business, but we're very much an agency. From the outside looking in, from a client perspective, a candidate consultant perspective, we look like an agency, but when you kind of pop the hood open, we're very, very different in that sense. So what we do is no different from our competition. How we go about doing it, why we go about doing it is where we really find those differentiations. Now I kind of want to talk a little bit about who is TEEMA, like really the makeup of TEEMA from a personality perspective, so to speak. And we have these, what we've designed, and the members have designed these, what we refer to as core values. Every organization has a vision, a mission, a purpose. And at TEEMA, we've created 5 core values, and we put them in the acronym of TEEMA. Not that that's what TEEMA means, but just for memory's sake, we've put them in the acronym of TEEMA. And to be trustworthy, doing the right things, and to do things right is so important at TEEMA. And this industry is, there's no regulations in this industry, and it kind of attracts some pretty shady people. So we want to make sure that we're dealing with people's lives, and we're dealing with a company's direction and so forth. So it's extremely important that we have a high degree of trust. Being entrepreneurial is, and the roots of entrepreneurialism is this ownership thinking mindset. Everyone at TEEMA has that ownership, entrepreneurial type of thought process. And that's really, really important from us from a core value perspective. And all the characteristics of the entrepreneur is found within each member within TEEMA. Being empowered, we want to empower our members. And that is really a core value. It's one of my favorites is to be empowered, to give you the opportunity. What do I mean by that? I'll give you a quick example. We don't have a rate sheet that we give to our memberships. Like, we don't say, well, you got to have certain amount of margins on this and these types of things. We allow a lot of flexibility to give you the opportunity to get the deal done and to negotiate and to talk to the client. And so there's a lot of empowerment in that capacity. Just one example of it. All of these core values, guiding principles, our brand promises, even the technology that we use as far as applicant tracking systems and so forth, have been designed by the member. We're a member-driven organization. All these sort of, from a client representation perspective, candidate representation, scoop rules, all these things, all of them have been designed by the membership. So you have a say in how the organization is run. If you have a best practice, if you come into TEEMA and you think, hey, we should look at this technology, or we should look at this method of interview process, get involved in the committees, influence that committee, and we can roll that out if the committee accepts it. So there's a real voice. You have a voice at TEEMA, and that was so important to us. I have sort of veto power, if you will, as long as it doesn't, if the core values, the guiding principles, if they don't fall, or if they fall outside of the core values, I'll kind of go back and tweak it. But the membership here really have the voice to make these things alive. And being accountable. A business without accountability is no business at all. We all need to, there's two types of people I look in life. There's either people run from accountability or people run to accountability. And for those who run to accountability, they own their successes and they own their setbacks. Now I want to talk a little bit about what makes TEEMA different. I talked a little bit about, what we do is no different from our competition, but how we go about doing it, this sort of platform type business, and why we go about doing it, the core philosophy of TEEMA. And so what makes TEEMA different? There's all kinds of these traditional agencies out there. And so really what is it that makes us different? We take essentially the great things of a traditional agency and get rid of the rest. I mean, if I could really simplify it that way. And so many great members have joined us and they've said, hey, let's consider this, let's consider that. So it's almost this sort of repository of best practices that we've been able to sort of utilize. So we've removed the restrictions, the bureaucracy, this weight of this 300-pound gorilla. I call it an 800-pound gorilla, but I'm telling you what to do, and the metrics, the KPIs, the number of phone calls you do, the number of, you've got to clock in and clock out. And this industry is hard enough. So you to have that type of pressure, and it doesn't help, in my opinion, especially if you know what you need to do and if you're disciplined enough to get it done. We really promote freedom and independence, this interdependence kind of concept. We're competitive internally, but it's a healthy competition, but we're cooperative. I call it a co-opetition type of philosophy and mindset here. We have a leaderboard and we have P Club, President's Club, and we have a sales conference. So we have this collaboration that works together, and a celebration when we win and so forth. So these are some of the core components, but all of these components of our vision statement, our mission, our core values, our guiding principles, our brand promises, all of this sits on what we call a business philosophy. Every business has a business philosophy. And if I can summarize our business philosophy in two major components, it's to put you, the member, at the center of the staffing universe. So what I mean by that is that the traditional agency will put the client first, and then they'll bring you in and they'll hot swap you out at will, at their discretion. But at TEEMA, we put the member first. We don't focus in on the client. You focus in on the client. What we want to do is create an experience for you, because our philosophy is that once the magic of our model is that when you regain your passion, and when you're passionate about that, you will service your clients, your candidates, your consultants at the highest level possible. So we want to make sure your experience is at the pinnacle of what TEEMA is all about. The second, sort of hand in glove with this sort of business philosophy, we want to teach our members how to generate wealth, not income, but wealth. The traditional agencies will give you an income, and you'll go into these places, you'll exchange your time, a predetermined amount of time, for a predetermined amount of money. At TEEMA, we just don't do that. That's not, if you exchange your time for money, you're going to live in the world of an income. And there's nothing wrong with that. I get it, but it's just not TEEMA. What we want to teach our members is how to generate wealth. There's a big difference in that, in philosophy. And I've just been humbled by we've been able to do this over the years. And don't take my word for it. Talk to some of the members here at TEEMA, and it's life changing. Once you've learned how to generate wealth, you separate yourself. You really become independent. And people, they think, oh, then I don't need it. They choose to stay here. We don't have non-competes at TEEMA. We want to build our company based on retention policies, not based on fear or greed. It's not a philosophy here. Like we want to, people are here because they choose to stay here and work here, and that's a big difference. And you'll see why, if you go into Glassdoor, you'll see our ratings and rankings, and I don't think you're going to find an agency that has a better ranking than us in Glassdoor. It's pretty awesome. So again, let's talk a little bit about who TEEMA is for. There's a lot of things that we are here at TEEMA, but there's a lot of things that we're not. For those who have a passion for this industry and take this seriously, TEEMA is for you. TEEMA is for those who believe in their abilities within the industry. TEEMA is for those who have a genuine interest in supporting others. It's for those who have a work hard, play hard type personality. And there's a lot of us here at TEEMA. We work hard, we play hard, and we have fun along the way. And that's really, really important to us. At TEEMA, it's for those who don't want to do it alone. If you kind of want to put out a single shingle, and that's great, but TEEMA is here in a community capacity. TEEMA is for those who want to work hard and get the proper reward and recognition for their work. And it's also for those who like to be challenged and want to get better at what they do. And we do lunch and learns every week where really expert recruiters and salespeople, they'll give up their time. They'll want to teach the membership on how to do certain things. It's a really cool concept where, we're always trying to sharpen our swords with each other. And that's something that is a core belief here at TEEMA. But there's a lot of things that we're not. So just to be clear, we're not going to be all things for all people. So who is TEEMA not for? So if you're looking for this JOB, as I call it, TEEMA is not for you. If you're looking to sort of exchange time for money, 98% of the people are out there in the world that do that. I get it. TEEMA is not better or worse in that. It's just different. So that's TEEMA is really not for you at this stage. If you want to hang your own shingle, as I mentioned, TEEMA is really not for you. We don't create individual islands here. The majority of our businesses are done between two people, a salesperson and a recruiter. That's the vast majority of our business. You could do what we call FBS, field by self, and double-ended deals. Those who do exceedingly well here at TEEMA, making $500,000 to $1 million a year, those people are typically, they do one side of the desk. They either do the sales side or the recruiting side. If you don't have agency experience, TEEMA is not for you. Really, you need to understand the importance of agency. And the difference between an agency and a corporate recruiting sort of gig is, I think, if I could summarize it, it's the sense of urgency. The sense of urgency in the agency world is extremely high, or higher than a corporate recruiter type capacity. And so that's sort of the big difference there. If you're worried about next month's mortgage payment, really TEEMA is not for you. I mean, it's a little, can be a bit nervous when you're in a commission type of world. It can be nervous. And if you're needing immediate payments on things, honestly, get a savings, get a nest egg, talk to us in 6 months or a year or something like that. If you're not really passionate about the industry, TEEMA is not for you. I mean, that's pretty simple. We're in the people business, and people is our, I don't want to call it a commodity, but that's just who we're not dealing with static, features and functions on a piece of software type thing. This is, our greatest strength and our greatest challenge is the people, whether it's on the client side or the candidate side. And that's the greatest thing and the frustrating thing about our industry as well. But you got to really have a passion for the industry. If you like to move around from place to place, really, again, TEEMA is really not for you. What we've designed TEEMA for, and I'll say to you, like, this is the last stop in the staffing recruiting agency. And you really want to treat it like that. Close the back door. This is it. And because you're not building it for me or for you're building your empire on this platform for you, your family. And that's really, really important. And when you have this freedom, flexibility, and autonomy, and you can do this within an organized system and a capacity, that's something that is it's real special, and we're really proud of that. But if you like to kind of move around, then again, once you're done moving, come on to TEEMA, and we'll chat about that. There's a lot of things we are at TEEMA, but there's a lot of things that we're not, and we're very transparent about that. So why would you join TEEMA? Well, we've got a name and a brand now with 14 years under our belt. We've got the best back office support team in the industry, and I'm not even kidding. Our whole back office support, these are full-time staff dedicated for us. And whether they're in payroll or accounting, contracts, whether they're in our member experience department, every single one of them want to create a wow for you. Community and a culture. That, it's very difficult to build a great culture in any organization. Now, we're a virtual distributed environment. Our people are everywhere in the 4 corners of North America. And so to create a community and a culture in that environment is exceedingly more challenging, but we've been able to do it. And we've been working remote for 14 years now. COVID changed the whole world, where now everyone seems to be working remotely. We didn't miss a beat. And maybe that's why we did more revenue and more sales last year than we did in 2019. Our productivity and our people, we kept going. So, but community and culture is a big reason to join an organization. And so you want to look into that at TEEMA. Don't take my word for it. Just do your due diligence here. And that's big. We have a business philosophy that puts our members first. And really, that's an important philosophy. If you're going to consider joining an organization, if I'm in your shoes, I want to make sure that they have the right business philosophy for you and for me. We're committed to growth in every aspect of what we do, personally, professionally, family, spiritually, everything. We want to grow as individuals, as teams, and at the corporation level. We want to grow. We want to expand. We're $115 million, $115 million in revenue last year. We're going to really push that. We're seeing incredible numbers this year already. So we just want to grow in those numbers and profitability and making our members even more successful, more wealthy. I know success and wealth, being wealthy is not entirely just about, it's a component of success. The success umbrella is a lot more than that. I believe that success umbrella is the 4 F quadrants. I call it the faith, family, fitness, and finances. All, success umbrella is all of that. And we just kind of focus in on the finance side, but it trickles into all other areas too. So we have a commitment to greatness. This is kind of a nebulous word. I mean, it's sort of subjective in many ways, but we do have this commitment to great. We're a good company on the journey to become a great company. So what are others saying about TEEMA? These are some of the people here. When I see them at President's Club, at P Club, we send our top billers to some resort destination each year, or I see them at this conference, or I fly into other areas. People come up to me and says, I'm passionate again about the industry. TEEMA's changed my life. It's changed my family. TEEMA's freed me from corporate America. I'm here for the rest of my working days. I hear this so often, and I always go back to all the members and I just say, thank you for taking a risk in us, to kind of jumping in and for believing in yourself, because that's what it's going to take. It's just, if you have a belief in your abilities and a belief in how you can do this industry, then that's a real important foundation to make a transition to us. But I just thank them. They took a risk. They did it with the decision of their family most often, and I just thank them for doing that. So I'm humbled when I see how TEEMA has positively changed the lives of so many people here. It's really cool to see, and so we have transformed this industry. We're continually being disruptive. So next steps. So we're going to follow up with each and every one of you that's joined us today. If you're still interested, if I haven't sort of scared you away, or if I've talked nonsense or whatever, if you're still interested to hear more stories, get more sort of under the hood of what we are and who we are, please respond to our follow-up note. All right. If the timing is not right for you at this time, we totally understand. When the timing is right, don't hesitate to reach out to us. There's the email. It's jointheteam@teemagroup.com. That's join the team, TEEM, at teemagroup.com. And we'd love to hear from you. I'll make myself available as well. You can ping me on LinkedIn. Happy to kind of hear your story as well. And listen, I appreciate the time today. Looking forward to seeing where this all goes with you guys.